Tour operators are reshaping their business. New players are entering the packaging area, especially in Europe. Are airlines, hotels, OTAs and meta-searcher the new and maybe even better alternative to classical tour operator? Let's talk about this. Please welcome on stage Jan Gerlach, the CEO of Peakwork. Eric Bonnardiere, CEO and founder of evaneos.com. And last but not least, Valentin, former Senior Vice President Strategy and Corporate Development, KAYAK Europe. Welcome, Jan. Thanks for joining, guys. And for those tiny less who are not familiar with your business, short introduction. Peakwork is a German-based travel tech specialist focused on leisure travel, especially package travel, with lots of supplier nowadays worldwide, of customers worldwide, basically tour operator, but nowadays more or less more airlines and suppliers, which is a surprise for me. We have to talk about this. Evaneos is not a tour operator, but you do something similar. You're a marketplace, a tour activity marketplace for in-destination experiences, but your product is rather similar to what classical tour operator specialists are offering. So let's work out what the difference is. And Valentin, who has been in charge at KAYAK since this month, he just stepped down and took his own operations in venture capital. He established a meta search for tour operating already in 2012 at the European portals at KAYAK. Question is why and what's the reason for this? And so I think we have a lot to discuss. First question to you all, and please make it as short as possible. It's pretty easy. What is in the year 2018 the advantage of this area which is not on stage, means the classical tour operator? Jan, please begin.
The classical tour operator, of course, still has a strong brand in most cases. So it's a brand that customers trust in. They have a lot of local expertise of how they can build up a product, and that leads then to a bundle that is still very much appreciated by lots of customers who expect security and just a good travel experience.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would say that tour operators are, quite old companies in the category or in the travel categories, and they are trying more and more to become digital. Today, it's a more offline business. They distribute their products mainly through classic travel agencies, and I think the winning strategy here is to combine human expertise they have. They have strong expertise about the destinations, with much more technology and digital-driven strategies.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's mostly about price, actually. I mean, in holiday destinations, based on owning inventory or buying power, just cheaper than dynamic packaging.
Okay. So let's dig into your businesses, gentlemen. So let's start with Evaneos. Eric, as I said, you're not a tour operator. You're a marketplace. What's the difference? Why are you not acting as a tour operator?
Actually, when we created this business 9 years ago, what we discovered on the market is that on multi-day tour segments, there were lots of middlemen that tend to standardize the product and also to increase the prices. So the idea we had, and we saw that trend for much more customization and also local experiences, we had this idea to connect the travelers with local agents. We call them DMCs, destination management companies, that are used to work with tour operators actually in B2B. They are the suppliers on the ground for the tour operators. And what we had this idea to suggest them to sell directly B2C their products. And it worked quite well because what we felt is that the customers really benefited from the local expertise of those travel agents, and that they can really customize very deeply the tours and access to much more inventory than booking directly through a tour operator.
Mm-hmm. And in the year 2018, are you still working much with local tour operators, or is it going
Yes, we are
online?
still working with them. I mean, we do everything with them. We have created lots of technology to help them managing their business. We are operating a SaaS platform that helps them to interact with the customers. And I really believe on the long term on this human interaction for those complex tours, because we only focus on very complex tours. On average, our customers, they spend 13 days in the destinations, and it includes, in average, 24 different services in a single trip, which is very complex. And this is why I think that on the long term, for this kind of tours, we will always need to have this human interaction, and that the robots will never replace everything.
Jan, for you, I just already mentioned you established tour operating meta search at European kayak portals already in 2012. What is the meaning of this? I mean, we have price equality in several European markets. Why do we need a tour operator or package meta search?
Yeah. Well, Steve asked me the same question. Why packages? I think he still does, frankly. But not from the point of view of packages being there being so much price parity, but from the point of view it's just not an important business in the US. In Europe, you're deducting, I think, a bit from the German market, where you have aggregators like Peakwork or Traveltainment who are used across platforms. The first market we launched in France, you don't have price parity. I would say in hotels, price parity is much higher than in packages, actually. So I think meta search per se has some value in there. It's not as established yet. If you look at TripAdvisor or Google, they're all saying they're gonna do it and they're gonna have more business there, but it yet needs to be seen how it's picked up by the user in terms of volume versus flights or hotels.
And by the way, we also see a new generation of tour operators, especially the supplier holidays, airline.com holidays, which probably not always have price equity. So is this a future to combine the classical tour operator and the new ones in one display?
I think so. I mean, users who, or people in general who go to Mallorca or wherever are not as interested in the fact if it's a dynamic package or it's a tour operator package, or even if it's a flight and an Airbnb. They would like to have a comprehensive comparison, and they are getting this comparison in long hours of research. I think it's still 11 hours on average, which we can shorten down in a meta search approach.
What do you think? When do we see such kind of solution? Combining all in one.
So there's a few small companies out there who I think are going to have an approach like this, if the players actually work with them, if Airbnb is open to open the inventory to them, if Booking is open to open the inventory, that we're going to see next year.
Okay. Jan, you're connecting, traditionally you're connecting tour operators with travel agents in a very classical way. That was how Peakwork started, I think, 9 years ago. And now it's more or less new playing fields. You're connecting travel agents or tour operator content and supplier content to meta search. And as I said, you established a company as an important tech provider for the supplier side, like, for instance, Ryanair Holidays or EasyJet Holidays. And a few more. I think it's 10 airlines.
Roughly.
In your portfolio. Is this the future for Peakwork?
Well, it's part of the future. So one part, as you mentioned, obviously is the connection to the meta search. So this is also the business where we're growing a lot. So connecting all the products in the market to meta search. But definitely the airline holiday solution is a solution that is growing very quickly. So you mentioned the examples like EasyJet, Eurowings or Ryanair, based on that technology. So the advantage for the airline is always, of course, an airline wants to fill the planes, but not for every price. So there's always a certain price barrier where they don't want to go below to fill the plane. And the packaging technology allows them to hide a certain low fare in a package because they bundle it with the hotel and then sell it, and that gives them extra margin on the hotel and allows them to do better yielding for their air ticket. And that's a strategy that works very well. And interestingly, this week Eurowings and also EasyJet announced that they really want to grow beyond just selling flights, but they want to boost their business of packaging and selling individual digital products.
I think so too. It was an interesting announcement from both of them. So they said we want to do more in tours and activities and packaging and whatever they do. We don't know so well. What is your minority stakeholder TUI thinking about this?
Well, I think so. TUI, let's say TUI as representing the tour operators, they all see that their margin is getting under pressure because differentiation gets more difficult for them. Because if the owners of the hotels and the airplanes offer product and packages themselves, of course, a middleman can be taken out of the game, which is then the tour operator, because the airline comes the tour operator itself. So what are the tour operators doing? Like TUI, of course, they're investing in real estate, like hotels and cruise ships themselves, obviously. So they become a supplier themselves. And they also offer tour operator services to other companies, because it's not that easy for an airline just to build up a tour operator and to set up a airline holiday business, because airlines they don't know how that works, how to be a tour operator. It's not just switching on hotel beds as a supplier and then you're there. And there, of course, the tour operators can offer services to airlines, for example.
And what do you think? How big is this market? How big is the growth potential for airlines in the tour operator segment, especially here in Europe?
I mean, the way that the airlines would look at it, first of all, is margin, right? It's just a high margin product if you can upsell into hotels. Which is the key. The key to the business of OTAs in flights. I think in terms of the overall market size, you can look at the numbers and you see that package is actually like almost half of hotels, and the same goes for Asia. Funnily enough, only Ctrip is actually releasing their numbers on packages. Neither Booking Holdings nor Expedia do it. So it looks very small, but for Ctrip it's 13%, that being a growth market. I mean, package is substantial.
And how, Eric, sorry, how about you? Is airline something you would like to add? I mean, you said you're a specialist and you work with your agent partners. That's fine, but are you missing air content somehow? Do you want to get packages as well?
Actually, our local DMCs, they offer the local flights because they are connected with all the local suppliers. And actually, we launched last year a functionality for the DMCs to include the international flights in the package. So we are able now to provide the full package to the travelers, which is completely customized.
We heard as well from Jan Gerlach, it's not that easy to establish a known tour operator business as an airline, just because what you need is local knowledge. You have to do the sourcing, the contracting, and so on. How do you do this?
So yeah, it's true that in travel it's all about trust and making sure that all the local suppliers, they match our criteria. So we have a full dedicated team doing that. I mean, as a marketplace, this is where we are the most similar to the tour operators, because we have a team of 45 people who spend lots of time in the destination to source the best DMCs. So we have established a very long list of criteria. We have a very big database of DMCs, and we work only with 10% of them. So we make sure that they match our criteria. And also with the size of the business, we are more able also to push our IDs and to standardize the quality level of the DMC. On average, I would say that we represent 30% of their business. So we have the power now to establish a very high quality level.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's look on the demand side. When we talk about package meta search, we also have to talk about Google here, just because, as we all know, Google is establishing their own packaging meta search, especially in Europe. It's still a beta, but it's there. And we don't know when it's getting published wide open. Maybe you know, but as a technical partner, but it's not official. Will this be a game changer, Jan? What do you think?
I think so, yes, because if Google, I mean Google owns the traffic, or let's say Google as one example, they have the traffic, and if they can connect all the supply, the role of all the OTAs will completely change. So the OTA basically needs a new value proposition, because just buying traffic from Google and selling the same product that is already on Google is, of course, not a sustainable value proposition for the OTAs, and that's why the meta business will definitely change the whole OTA game.
How do you see this? I mean, key advantage on Google packages, Jan, is that it's combining classical two-operator packages with dynamic packaging packages and with individual packages. It's all in one, so to say, whenever it's released, but it should be one in one. So is it a killer application in your point of view?
Not yet. I mean, we do the same, by the way. KAYAK does the same. We also have individual components and packages. That question KAYAK gets asked all the time, and the answer is always the same. Google is probably doing a really good job, but it doesn't vary KAYAK. And I don't yet see that people will, they go to TUI. That's what you just mentioned, to book their package. They don't go to Google to book their package.
Yeah, I agree with you, just because it's not available, but I stay on my side. When it's available, when you have all-in-one platform, wherever it is it Google Maps or is it an app, it's cool to have. So will others like KAYAK be able to copy this or to do it even better?
I'm not sure they're doing it better, and I think what Google lacks conspicuously in their UI in general is inspiration, which is also very important for packages, which you can argue the same for KAYAK. Maybe Momondo, which we just bought, is a bit different in that, and we actually see higher conversion rate coming out of Momondo for packages for exactly that reason. So I think that entire part Google lacks completely and will continue to lack.
Eric, what's the best funnel for you? I mean, we're talking about meta search, we're talking about OTAs a little bit. You talk about classical travel agents you're working with. Do you see a chance to get your own product displayed on KAYAK, for instance, or on Google packages? Is it the perspective?
We are already working with KAYAK, so
if
you're searching for a flight, sometimes you can find a Evaneos ad and you can come on the website. But the most efficient channel for us are to bring people on the website who have not chosen yet their destination. They are looking for inspiration, because more and more people now, they want to live experiences even if they have not chosen the destination. So I think this is one of the role of the tour operators or destinations websites, to inspire people and to really try to help them making the right choice. And I think Google at the moment is not very good at doing that. I mean, it's great if you know where to go, where you want to go, and if you want to book a flight and hotel, it's going to be simple. But if you have no idea and you want to do something with your family, for example, which is great, and you want to have a flight that lasts less than 4 hours and you have a certain budget, you will need to speak to someone who really knows the destination. So I think it can be a threat in the future, but it's not here today.
But still, your product seems to be a bit uncomparable. I mean, it's quite complex. It's round trips basically. It has a lot of criteria, and you can't do a price matching, a price comparison with competitors, which might be good for you or even not. I don't know. Is it an advantage or is it a disadvantage?
I think it's a strong barrier to entry to have, I think, cracked this complex product. Because the more it is complex, the more you need to talk to someone to benefit from someone who knows. And if you book just a hotel and a flight, I mean, you can automate everything. And I think with the network of DMCs we have created, we are able to answer to very complex questions, and this is the goal of the company. So I will never fight on very short trips, spending a weekend in Barcelona. The added value of a travel agent is not here. But if you want to go to a safari in Tanzania for 12 days, or spending 3 weeks in the US with your car and booking everything in advance, I mean, it's going to be very painful to do that by yourself.
And Gerlach, what do you say? We have a lot of price comparison and distribution systems for classical package trips, like flight to Mallorca and back, but we don't have any for round trips. Is it a market niche that should be filled?
Yes, I think it should be filled, but currently none of the big OTAs or meta searches is going into that segment due to the reason that it's so hard to compare the different products because they are so individual. So how could you compare the different safaris in Tanzania, probably? What is then, of course, saving the margin for those who offer those products. That's a big advantage, but that's also the direction I think all the classical tour operator business is going, because all our tour operators, they're asking for differentiations through ancillaries, like tours and attractions we discussed earlier today. So the classical package will also change, be it transportation, be it attractions, because all the tour operators, they're looking for additional margin and they're looking for differentiation of their product. So they will put more and more features in there and even might turn around the whole inspirational process of that package. So not selling a hotel and the flight and then adding an attraction, but selling the attraction first and then adding a flight and a hotel to it, because the attraction is the main goal of the trip. So I think the whole packaging bundling will get more complex and more flexible in future.
At Phocuswright, we talked a lot already, and we'll do it also tomorrow, about tours and activities in destination experiences as a new booming market in the travel sector. Just to name two names, the first is Airbnb experiences. The second is Booking.com experiences, quite similar. It's also just a beta, but also Booking.com is trying to sell more than just hotels. Jan, question to you: is this a new way, a new competitor for this market, for the package market?
Well, I think Booking is of course much better than Airbnb.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty rare. I think it's in 8 cities at the moment. I don't know the current status. It's Berlin, it's Amsterdam, it's a few. The system is you get your QR code and you get instant payment, instant ticketing. Is this a unique model, or do we see more of this in the future? What do you think?
I think we will see more, and we will see more players in the game as well, testing that out. I think in terms of maybe there's going to be more of a peer-to-peer component in it as well, which we don't see as much yet. But I think it's too early to really tell what the impact on business is going to be.
Okay. Question from the audience?
Is it working? Yes. Question from.
Thank you for this great panel. Just a question. We saw with Phase, if we take like 10 years ago, we saw Booking a package, a closed package. Then with the information that the traveler can get to, he went to book his flight, then searching for his hotel, then 2 weeks before the car rental and the activities. So we split his booking in different suppliers, the travel. Do you feel, or do you think that it will go back to one single place, even if it is dynamic packaging or is closed packaging? Can we expect that? Are we expecting that the traveler will come back and book all the elements of this trip in one single booking, in one single place, where we can get the comparison done, everything, but it will have one customer service, one place, or it will continue to be his own travel agent like today and book everything separately?
Good question, maybe to all of you.
So I'm sure that technology will allow to bundle more products into one booking. So the whole booking process will be more flexible. So today, the easy case of a multi-stop booking, going to one major city, spending 3 days there, and then going to a beach destination another week, and you need 3 flights and 2 hotels for that. That is even hardly bookable today, and you still have to edit from different sources. But I think this is definitely going to change, and technology will allow to bundle more products into one package. But then still, of course, it depends on the decision process of the traveler. So maybe when you book in advance, you will package more products into the package. But then if you're lying at the pool and you're getting bored and you want to do something the same evening or the next day, then of course it's a completely different buying process, and then there's going to be another supplier to handle this.
Eric, is it all in one or several places?
I don't know, but what I've seen over the years is that even for very complex trips, people tend to book last minute. So 5 years ago, people booked 3 to 4 months in advance in our websites. Now it's more 2 to 3 months. So they do that in a very limited time. So I think it's an opportunity here to create bundling projects where we can do everything very quickly, and people want to do things quickly. And I don't think people really like to spend hours to browse 20 websites to find the right service. So I kind of think that having a one-stop shop experience is the future.
Do we have time for another question from the floor?
We have.
Thank you very much for your interesting conversation. And I have a question. Among all the digital innovations and technologies, meta search, artificial intelligence, there are a lot of discussions about a virtual reality and immersive experience in terms of selling the attractions. So the question is, do you see the real potential in immersive experiences when using it as a selling an attraction? Thank you.
Jan, is it maybe for you?
Yeah, I think yes. I think Google just talked about the fact that in terms of virtual reality, we are in phase 2 out of 20 at the moment, and content production is still pretty expensive, mostly. There's some ways to do it, but I think that's still prohibitive at the moment. It will come. It just takes longer than maybe we have all expected.
Big thanks. Thanks to Jan Gerlach, Bonnardiere, and Jan Valentin.
Thank you.